You were never only flesh and breath. You were a chord strung between earth and sky, a note still vibrating from the first song the universe ever sang. But somewhere between the days and the years, someone or something made you forget. You learned to walk in straight lines, speak in rehearsed words, think in borrowed thoughts. And yet, when the wind moves a certain way, when a sound brushes the edges of your hearing, when your body shivers without warning, something in you remembers. It is not madness, it is memory. The kind that belongs not to your mind, but to the currents flowing beneath it, rivers older than your name. Have you noticed it? The strange stillness that rises in the pause between two breaths? The way your skin tingles when you stand beneath the night sky too long? Or how silence sometimes feels heavier than sound? These are not random sensations. They are messages. Letters written in a language your body once spoke fluently. Every heartbeat, every shiver, every moment of weightless quiet is an echo from a time before time. Long before clocks, before maps, before words themselves. There were doorways, not carved in stone or painted on walls, but woven into the body. Hidden passages between the seen and the unseen. And one of them lies within you now, waiting. They called it many things. The gate of heaven, the breath's throne, the neck of the sky. But names are just shadows. The truth is in the sensation. It is not just a place in your body. It is a bridge. One side touches your bones and blood, the other, the endless. If you could press here in the exact way the ancients knew how, if you could awaken the current that sleeps there, stillness would no longer be a practice. It would be your nature. The doorway is closer than you think, closer than the words leaving your lips, closer than the thought you're having now. That once you step through, the world will not grow louder, it will grow quiet. Quiet in a way that feels like returning. This is not a video, it is a doorway, and some part of you, the oldest part, has already begun to cross. If your soul has started to stir, if something ancient inside you is waking up, follow this thread before it fades again. Subscribe, not because you're curious. Subscribe because deep down, you remember. The spine gospel, just where your spine surrenders to your skull, there is a hollow that feels both ordinary and strange. If you tilt your head forward, you might sense it. A small valley of bone and muscle, where the curve of your neck softens into the base of your head. It is the place your fingers wander to when you're lost in thought, pressing without knowing why. To the untrained eye, it's nothing, just a seam in the body's architecture. But to those who remember, it is the threshold. This hollow rests against one of the most delicate intersections in your body, the meeting of the atlas, the first vertebra of the spine, and the occipital bone at the base of your skull. Here, your head's weight balances upon the narrowest of supports, a structure no larger than a ring. Beneath this arch lies the brainstem, a living corridor between instinct and awareness, breath and thought. Every heartbeat, every breath, every instinctive reaction passes through this gate before reaching the rest of you. Threaded through this passage runs a single wandering nerve, the vagus. It travels down from your brain, touching your heart, your lungs, your gut, whispering instructions that shape your very state of being. Pressing, holding, or simply breathing into this area is like touching the conductor's hand as it guides the orchestra of your body. The tempo slows, the noise softens, and something older than words begins to rise. Ansi, Ents gave this place many names. In Taoist medicine, it is Feng Qi, the wind pool, where stagnant currents can be released and clear vision restored. Egyptian mystics spoke of the neck of the sky, a bridge the soul must cross to move between realms, guarded by divine beings. Hermetic writings called it the pillar of light, the single point where the mortal body brushes against the eternal. Even in medieval healing arts, the base of the skull was seen as a sacred hinge, opening and closing the gates between waking and dreaming. Today, we might call these stories metaphors, and yet, modern science is beginning to circle back. Research shows that gentle touch here can shift the body into its parasympathetic state, the deep healing mode where the heart rate steadies, muscles soften, and the mind clears. It can stimulate the flow of cerebrospinal fluid, bathing the brain in nourishment. It can interrupt the spirals of anxiety, pulling you into a silence so complete it feels like the earth itself has stopped breathing. Why does this happen? Because this point is more than anatomy. It is a junction, a place where bone and nerve, current and consciousness meet in a single breath. When you press here with awareness, you are not merely touching skin, you are sending a ripple through the body's entire electrical sea. The ancients may not have mapped nerves or measured brainwaves, but they knew the feeling. They knew the way vision sharpens when the wind clears from this pool. They knew that stillness was not something to be learned, it was something to be uncovered. And they guarded this knowledge the way one guards a flame in the dark. To touch this place is not just to press flesh, it is to press a memory into waking. A memory of what it feels like to live in tune, unscattered, whole. But in our age, that tuning has been lost beneath noise, speed, and distraction. And to find it again, we must first see how the world has made us forget. Somewhere between your first breath and today, the thread was as cut. Not severed violently, but slowly, like a rope fraying strand by strand, until it no longer held. The stillness you were born with slipped beneath the surface, replaced by a hum that never stops. And so the place at the base of your skull, that quiet, ancient threshold, waits in silence while the rest of you runs endlessly forward. The world we've built does not leave space for listening. From the moment your eyes open, light floods in, not the soft light of morning, but the sharp glare of screens. The air carries not the rustle of trees, but the steady buzz of machines. Our days are bound to clocks that chop time into pieces too small for eternity to enter. We mistake movement for life and noise for connection. It is a clever distraction, a river forced to rush until it forgets how to reflect the sky. Your nervous system, meant to sway gently between rest and alertness, is locked in a narrow cage of reaction. The heart beats faster, the breath stays shallow, the body forgets how to descend into the deep waters where the ancient memory waits, and the gateway, the one hidden between spine and skull, remains closed, not by force, but by neglect. It was not always like this. Once, silence was not an absence, but a presence. Communities would gather under moonlight to breathe together, to chant, to feel the pulse of the earth beneath their feet. In the temples of Kemet, the initiates were taught to walk with their awareness anchored in the spine. In the Taoist mountains, disciples learned to rest the mind in the neck of the sky, so that spirit could flow without obstruction. Every culture had its ways of keeping the doorway open, rituals woven into daily life like threads of gold. Now, those threads have been dyed the color of distraction. We are taught to seek outside for what lives within. The child who once stared at the horizon, until her thoughts dissolved, is now handed a screen and told to stay entertained. The man who once sat by the fire in quiet reflection now scrolls endlessly, chasing flashes of meaning. And so the ancient voices fade, replaced by the constant chatter of the manufactured world. It is not a malicious force, not in the way we imagine villains in stories. It is subtler, a web of beliefs spun over centuries, that value is measured in speed, that silence is unproductive, that stillness is laziness. We have built our days like towers, brick upon brick, until no sunlight can reach the garden where the old truths grow. But the body remembers. The pulse at the base of your skull still waits for the moment you press into it, the way a key waits for the hand that turns it. And the instant you touch it with presence, the hum begins to fade, as if the illusion itself wavers. Not because the world has changed, but because your awareness has. And though the veil thickened, the pulse beneath it never stopped. It has been calling to you in every breath, every moment of sudden stillness you could not explain. If you listen closely enough, you can feel it, the quiet thread that leads not outward, but inward. The veil we spoke of, the one that clouds our perception, is not only a matter of the mind, it is woven into the very tissues of the body. And just as a dream can dissolve with the right sound, the illusion can thin with the right touch. The ancients called it many things: the heavenly pillar, the gate of winds, the mouth of God. Modern anatomy gives it other names: the atlanto-occipital joint, the medulla oblongata, the occipital notch. But in truth, these are just labels for the same bridge, a place where flesh meets spirit, where the nervous system opens to currents we cannot measure with instruments alone. If you rest a fingertip at the hollow where your neck meets the base of your skull, you are touching more than bone and muscle. Beneath lies the uppermost gateway of the spine, crowned by the atlas, the first vertebra named for the Titan who held the heavens. Through it runs the brainstem, carrying the electrical breath of life between your body and the realm of thought. From this point, the vagus nerve descends like a golden thread, weaving its influence through heart, lungs, and gut, tuning the entire body's rhythm. Cerebrospinal fluid flows here too, a clear river that carries messages and nourishment, pulsing in time with your breath and heartbeat. In purely physical terms, this place is a crossroads of life-supporting systems. In spiritual terms, it is the lock to a hidden door. When you press here gently, or simply rest your awareness upon it, something changes. It is not a dramatic shift, no sudden flash of light, but a soft unfurling. Your breath deepens, your thoughts loosen their grip. The noise recedes, as if someone has turned the volume down on the world. Ancient cultures understood this without diagrams or microscopes. The Taoists spoke of resting the mind where heaven meets earth in the body. Egyptian priests aligned the Jed pillar, a symbol of the spine, with the crown of the head, honoring the flow between the worlds. In Indian traditions, the Bindu point behind the head was said to release the nectar of immortality when awakened. Today, science offers its own reflection of these truths. Modern research into brainwave patterns shows that deep relaxation shifts us from the rapid, problem-solving beta waves into slower alpha and theta states, the very states where creativity blooms, memory consolidates, and intuition sharpens. Touch or mindful focus at the base of the skull may activate the vagus nerve, signaling the body to enter its parasympathetic mode, the mode of healing, restoration, and openness. Some studies suggest that this area, when stimulated, can influence blood flow to the brain and alter the release of neurotransmitters, subtly reshaping perception itself. Think of it like a tuning fork. Your body is an instrument, constantly vibrating in response to its environment. Most of us are tuned to the restless frequencies of stress and distraction, but this point between spine and skull is like a master key. Touch it with presence, and the entire system can retune itself, aligning to the deeper harmonics of the Earth's own resonance. It is as if the static clears, and for a moment, the original music comes through. And yet, this is not simply a matter of pressing a spot and unlocking a secret. It is a relationship, a practice of returning again and again to the place where awareness meets the body's oldest rhythms. Each time you rest there, you remind the body of something it has never truly forgotten. The ancients knew this so well, they built their wisdom into stone and ritual. They carved it into temples aligned with stars, into postures and breaths passed down through generations. They guarded it, not because it was fragile, but because it was sacred. For them, this gateway was not merely anatomy, it was the meeting point of earth and sky. And so, when you press here today, you are touching the same living truth they touched thousands of years ago. The same current flows through you as flowed through them. The same bridge opens, And beyond that bridge lies something they tried to tell us in every symbol, every chant, every line of their sacred architecture. The same hands that carved the pyramids, the same eyes that traced constellations in the dark, knew this point by touch alone. And they left us clues, not in books, but in stone and story, so that when the world became loud again, we could find our way back. The temples may be silent now, their altars crumbled and their prayers carried away on the wind, but the temple of your body still stands. No sandstorm can bury it, no empire can break it. It waits, patient, unhurried, for two. He dare you walk back through its gates. You are both the archaeologist and the artifact. Your search is not for relics hidden beneath the earth, but for a doorway hidden in your own spine. Every step toward it is not forward, but inward. And once you arrive, you'll see, the treasure was never sleeping. It was simply waiting for you to remember where to look. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture your body as a sanctuary, built in perfect proportion. Your spine is the central column, rising like the great pillars of Karnak or the trunk of the world tree. Your ribs are the arches of a vast hall, breathing in and out like ancient doors, swinging open and closed. And where your spine meets your skull, there lies the hidden altar, a small, silent space, untouched by the noise of the world. This is the jade pillow, the Bindu point, the place where countless generations once turned their attention in prayer and meditation. Step into that sanctuary now. Let your breath be the incense that fills it. Inhale slowly, counting to 4 if you wish, feeling your spine grow tall and light. Hold the breath gently, not as a prison, but as a moment of reverence. Then exhale, letting your shoulders fall away from your ears, the muscles at the base of your skull softening. Again, inhale, hold, exhale. Not to control the body, but to listen to it. Somewhere between those breaths, you may notice a faint warmth, a subtle hum, a tingling as if invisible hands were lifting your crown from within. That is not your imagination. It is the ancient current running through you, stirring again. This gateway is not opened by force. It is opened by alignment and attention. Stand or sit with the crown gently lifted, chin tucked ever so slightly, the spine long. Let your awareness rest on that quiet junction between skull and neck. Here, the river of energy flows without interruption. And it may take days, weeks, or a lifetime. But with each breath, you are clearing the path, polishing the ancient stone of your own altar. Even in the busiest moments of your life, you can return here. In the market, on a crowded street, in the stillness before sleep. Give yourself 1 minute. A minute to straighten your spine, soften your jaw, breathe deeply. 1 minute to remember you are more than thought and muscle. You are a vessel of something unbroken. And when the gateway opens, it is not light alone that floods in. It is remembering. It is the recognition of a voice older than your name, speaking in the rhythm of your breath and the beat of your heart. It is the quiet understanding that your thoughts are not solitary sparks, but threads woven into a tapestry that began long before you and will stretch far beyond you. This reconnection is not a new path. It is the oldest one, and though it may feel private, intimate, even solitary, you are never alone in walking it. Every breath you take here is the same breath taken by monks in their stone cells, by mystics on mountain peaks, by healers in forest clearings. You are stepping into a stream that has been flowing for millennia. And as you stand in that current, between the root of your spine and the crown of your skull, between earth and heaven, there is only stillness. Stillness, and the knowing that the journey is both over and just beginning. From here, the path narrows into something even more subtle. No techniques, no history, no symbols, only a reminder, a single truth that has always been yours, and that is where we now arrive. The stillness does not end when you open your eyes. It lingers, like the scent of rain on stone after the storm has passed, like a bell still humming after its ringing fades. You stand now at the threshold. Behind you, the path that led you here. Before you, the life you must return to. But something within you has changed, and that change will not be undone. The truth is this: the gateway was never a secret place to be found, never a mountain to be climbed or a temple to be entered. It was you. It was always you. The act of seeking it was the act of peeling away the dust, the noise, the names you were given, until only the clear shape of your own being remained. Stillness is not a destination. It is your original nature, revealed when the movement stops. And now you know. The silence at the back of the skull, the hum along the spine, the breath that feels like light. These are not moments you enter. They are what you are when you stop pretending to be anything else. So when the noise of the world returns, and it will, remember, the doorway has not vanished. It is here, as near as the space between your inhale and your exhale. When you forget, your breath will remind you. When you doubt, the stillness will speak your name. When you feel lost, let your spine rise, let your head bow ever so slightly, and the current will find you again. You are not the first to walk this path, and you will not be the last. The ancient ones who came before you still walk beside you in ways the eyes cannot see. The pulse in your veins is the same pulse that moved through them. The light in your mind is the same light they guarded, carried, and passed on. You are part of an unbroken chain. And so you return to the world, but not empty-handed. You carry the stillness now, like a flame cupped in your palms, invisible to others, yet capable of setting hearts alight. If something in you has stirred, if you feel the thread pulling at the edges of your soul, follow it before it fades again. The spine gospel is here, holding the door open for as long as you wish to walk through.